What's up, guys? It's Pick'em with HuddleGG, and today we're going to talk about all of the hot routes available to us here in College Football 26. And we're even going to show you some easy route concepts you can set up with some of the new hot routes that are in this year's game. Our goal is to always help you guys get better at college football. So with that being said, let's dive right into the video. Before we get started on the actual individual hot routes each position gets, we do need to understand the 4 specific positions that get their own hot routes. So if we look at the field here, there are going to be, again, 4 spots on the field that are going to get unique hot routes for that position. The first are going to be your outside receivers. So outside receivers are going to get the same hot routes, whether it's a trips look or a 2x2 look, it doesn't really matter. If you're an outside receiver and you're considered an outside receiver for that position or for that formation, you're going to get the outside receiver hot routes. The next position that's going to get its own individual hot routes are going to be slot receivers. So slot receivers are going to be a little bit different than outside receivers. You may see some crossover. That's not like every single hot route is brand new, but you will see some more unique ones to the slot that you may not see on the outside receivers. The next position that's going to have its own hot routes are going to be tight ends that are attached. So it's not specifically the player. So if you have a tight end that's split out in the slot, he's going to get slot hot routes. But if he is attached to the line, he's going to get the standard tight end hot routes. And then the last position on the field that you're going to see that gets their own hot routes are going to be your running backs or players that are in the backfield. Let's first talk about our outside receiver and the hot routes we have available for them. I'm going to go through each of the 14 hot routes available to each position, and I will call out which hot routes are new. For the outside receiver, we are going to be putting all of these hot routes on the outside left receiver. As you can see, he is isolated, so it will be easy to see what these routes are. We're going to start out with the fade route. This is just your traditional outside release fade. We are then going to have an in route, which is your square 5-yard in. As you can see, we are going to have a curl route, and then we are going to have what's technically new, but really it's going to be something very similar to what we had last year. We are going to have an out route to the outside receiver. Why I say it's new is last year we had a speed out, so it was a little bit different of a route, but it is essentially going to be the same thing. It's just now more of that squared out route rather than that speed out that had more of a curve on the break. That is what we're going to have on the left stick. On the right stick, we're going to have post. We are going to have a slant route. We are going to have a drag. And then the last one on the right stick is going to be your corner route, or some people will call this a C route. Now on the D-pad is where we are going to start to get some new hot routes. The first one here, the deep over, this is a new named hot route, but it's not a new route for us. Last year we had deep cross. This is essentially the same exact route for us. It is just going to have a different name this year. But these next 3 are all new hot routes for us. The first one is a sluggo or a slant and go. You can see a nice double move here. The next one is going to be a return route, which is going to be an inverted whip or a zig. Again, we've had whips and zigs a lot in the past, and we had returns in the game last year. They are super, super effective routes. We just didn't have the ability to hot route them. So this is going to be a headache to deal with. Knowing that people can put a return route on the field anytime they want. And then the other one here we have is post sit. And this is a really, really good route in zone coverage. We are going to talk about it later in the video. Again, it sits in a really nice spot in a nice pocket of a lot of zone defenses. And then our last 2 for our outside receiver are going to be same as last year, smoke screen. And then we are going to have a comeback route as well. Next, let's look at our slot receivers and their hot routes, and we are going to be isolating the slot receiver to the left side of the screen here with that Y receiver. Now, we are going to have 4 new hot routes for this position as well, but we are going to go through all of our hot routes. The first one is going to be our streak. Then we are going to have our traditional 5-yard in route. We are going to have a curl, and then one that is new to this position, but not new to the game, is the speed out. We had this on outside receivers this year. It has swapped. Now we can put this on our slot receivers, as you can see here. Now, our right stick hot routes are going to be the same as last year. We are going to have a post. We are going to have a slant. We are going to have a drag. And then we are going to have a corner route. The ones on the right, we are going to have one new one here. The deep cross is going to be the same. We are going to have the short cross. We are going to have the zig. And then the new one this year is going to be the return route, same as what we had on the outside receivers. Again, this is a very effective route. And for slot receivers, it's going to be tough because they can now hot route onto a whip or a zig going to the outside, or they can go to this return route coming back to the inside. And the other two new ones this year to slot receivers are the left trigger and the right trigger. The left trigger is going to be our slot fade, and then the right trigger is going to be our choice route here, which is either going to run a hitch or a quick little 3 to 4 yard out route. The next position we're going to look at is going to be our tight end and their hot routes, and there are going to be 3 new hot routes here for tight ends in College Football 26, but let's go through each of them. We're going to first have our left stick hot routes, which is going to be our streak. We are going to have our 5-yard out route. We are going to have our 5-yard in route, and then we are going to have our curl. With the right stick hot routes, we are going to have our post. We are going to have our corner. We are going to have our drag, and then we are going to have our slant. And then with the D-pad, we're going to have 2 new ones here. The 2 that are not new are going to be our deep cross, and then we're going to have our wheel. And this is a really nice wheel because it's really flat to the line of scrimmage. You can see there where it essentially looks like a flat route first, and then it gets really wide, and then it's going to break down the field. But the 2 new ones are going to be a zig. This is going to be an absolute headache. Formations that have had zigs at the tight end position, just as stock routes, have been really tough to defend in years past. Now, any formation that has a tight end attached to the line can put that tight end on the zig. And then again, with every other position we've seen at receiver so far, we are going to have the return route. Again, these routes are going to be a headache to deal with time and time again, but it's going to open up a lot of things here for the offense as well. And then the other new one we have is with the left trigger, which is stick nod. So you're going to have that stick and nod down the field. This is a nice double move that has done a good job at beating man coverage in the past, and I'd expect the same exact thing for it this year. And then we are going to have pass block, which is our right trigger. So again, it's not a route, but it is still something that we can adjust that tight end to do if we do want to have extra protection there to hold the ball a little bit longer in the pocket. Our last position we're going to look at are going to be our running back hot routes, or our players that are in the backfield. And these are all the same as last year, but we're still going to show you what we have available to us. So on our left stick, we're going to have our streak. We are going to have our in. We are going to have our out, and then we are going to have our curl. On the right stick, we are going to have a flat route. We are going to have a swing to the left. We're going to have a swing to the right. And then we're going to have an option route here with the triple option where you can either run a curl or you can break left or right. We are going to have on the D-pad the Texas. We are going to have a wheel, a corner route, and then we are going to have a C route or a post here. Again, this looks very similar to the outside receiver corner route, but again, this is going to be called a post to the running back position. But you can see how it has that C shape as well. And then the left trigger is going to be a block and release, where again, he will check the protection. And then if his guy is not blitzing, he will release out on this flat route. And then the last one with right trigger is going to be pass block, again, to get that extra protection in the backfield. Now that we've talked about all the different hot routes available to us in the game, let's focus on a couple of the new ones and see how we can utilize these to attack some popular defenses. So the first one we're going to talk about is going to be the return route from a slot receiver. We're going to be setting this route combo up from a trip style look. We're going to be using trio halfback weak, but any trip set that has 3 receivers to one side of the field will work. Now, the only 2 receivers that are really important to us for this route combo are going to be the 2 inside receivers to the trip side. Now, what we want to do is we want to put the inside receiver on a return route, and we're going to put the middle receiver on a deep cross, and it's going to look just like this to the Y and the B. And what we're doing here to attack zone coverage is going to be using the Y to push back the underneath zones, and that's going to open up a nice pocket in the defense for the B to get wide open for an easy 5+ yards. And if they start to play aggressive downhill, we can start to attack and hit that Y over the middle as well. But our primary target here is going to be that B receiver. This is a cover 2 defense here, and you're going to see how we just have a ton of space underneath to throw this and get ourselves an easy 5+ yards. And obviously, if you make somebody miss, you can get even more. But if we go look at the replay, you're going to see why this works. And again, this deep cross is really important because he's going to drive back these underneath defenders. You see this yellow zone here, the 2 yellow zones here to the middle are getting pushed back to about 15 yards. which is opening up this return route for an easy completion. You can see when we catch the ball, we have about 8 yards of space between us and the nearest defender, and then we can turn up field and get some additional yardage. But again, this is so much space underneath just because of that deep cross pushing back those underneath defenders. Again, that was a cover 2. We can run this against a cover 3 as well, and you're going to see we're going to get similar results. Certain defenses will be open a little bit more, but again, the concept's going to remain the same against your popular zone defenses with cover 2, cover 4, and cover 3. Here, you're going to see, again, we set up the route combination with the B and the Y. When we go to say height, you're going to see how that guy will drive back the underneath zones, and we're going to have that guy open for the easy completion there to that return route, again, to the inside receiver of a trips look. If we look at this one again in replay, you're going to see this guy here is going to drive back the underneath zone. So again, you can see him driving back the yellow, and that's going to allow us to throw this here underneath. Again, a ton of space here available when we are able to push that guy back. And like I did mention, I will show you if they were to play super aggressive and they knew this was coming, you can always throw it to the deep cross as well, right? So you don't have to throw it to the B if the user's playing super aggressive or they're shading down or they're putting their zones at specific depths. You can always throw it right there as well underneath the safety. So again, it is a 1-2 read. Your primary read is going to be that underneath guy. But if you get your opponent to be really aggressive and play down towards that return route, you can always hit the deep cross over the middle as well. Here we're going to talk about the slot fade route and how we can utilize this to absolutely torch cover 0 blitzes like mid blitz 0. If you guys played last year, you know how popular this defense and how frustrating this defense was. And I would expect some sort of a cover 0 blitz to be popular early on in college football 26. So you want to have an answer. First thing we want to do, put our best receiver at the slot position, right? If we have the best matchup available for us, that's going to give us the most opportunities and the most consistent opportunities to beat the man one-on-one. An easy way to do that is just by using your right stick to flick to a package. Again, you can see here we have a package here called wide receiver 1 slot, which puts our wide receiver 1 in the slot. The next thing we want to look for, a formation that has that slot receiver on the line of scrimmage. Now this formation here, spread wide slot weak, does not. I could go to another formation, but I'm going to show you how we can get that guy to the line of scrimmage in a formation like this as well. This isn't something that will work in every single formation, but there are a lot of formations in the game where it will work. And all you want to do is motion the receiver to the same side of the field that he's already on. So if he's on the left side of the field, just motion him left. And a lot of times he'll step to the line of scrimmage and the outside receiver will step off the line of scrimmage just like that. Now we can put him on our slot fade. And the only thing I'd suggest is the outside receiver, just don't let him run a route that's going to run into the slot fade. So just put him on an out route, put him on a smoke screen, something like that. Again, just get him out of the way. But what we're looking for here is our slot receiver to get an outside release. The second he gets an outside release on that press man, we're going to throw that ball over the top as soon as they break contact. Okay, so I'm going to set up my protection here just to make sure that I have enough time to throw the ball. What you're going to see is as soon as we see that outside release, we're going to throw that ball over the top, and we're going to have the opportunity to get a big play and a possible one-play touchdown here. And again, it's all based off the release that we see. Again, you're going to get it way more consistently the better your receiver is, but also having him on the line of scrimmage. So you don't have to have the best receiver in the game. Obviously, it helps the better your receiver is, but you do need to have him on the ball, and you do want to put your best receiver here as well. You don't want to have some guy who doesn't have good speed, doesn't have good ability to get off of this press man. But if you have the player here, this route absolutely torches. You can see it's really hard for them to press a lot of the times. And we're actually going to be able to run away from any middle of the field safety as well. You can see here when we're running this, if there's a safety in the middle of the field, say they're playing something like a cover 1, and we get this outside release, that safety is not going to be able to get all the way outside of the numbers. Okay, so you can see here how we're able to utilize this guy, isolate him in the slot, get the matchup that we want, and throw that ball over the top for the easy big play down the field, but also possibly the easy one-play touchdown. Here we're going to talk about how we can utilize 2 of our new hot routes in a nice route combination to really attack your cover 3 and cover 4 drop style defenses. And the great news about this is you can do this out of a ton of formations, pretty much any trip set in the game, and then also any 2x2 spread set. Here in this video, we're going to be doing it out of a 2x2 spread set. And whether you're doing it out of the spread set or a trip set, you always want to run this combination to the 3 receiver side of the field. Obviously, in the trip set, that's self-explanatory where the 3 receivers are. But in a 2x2 set like this, it's going to be to the side of the field that the running back is on. Okay, because we're going to be utilizing that running back in the route combo. What we want to do first, get that running back out to the flat, whether it's a flat route or a swing to that side of the field. It doesn't really matter. And then the 2 hot routes that are new this year that we're going to utilize is the choice route to the slot receiver here. And then the outside receiver we're going to put on a post sit. Now, when they are in a cover 3 drop or a cover 4 drop style zone, that Y is going to run a quick little hitch, and that's actually going to draw the defenders, the underneath defenders, into him, which opens up that X receiver in a nice pocket in the defense. Okay, so what you're going to see here is when we go to say hike, how we're going to be able to just wait, be patient, and we're going to be able to find that receiver right there in the pocket for a nice completion down the field. If we look at the replay, we're going to see why this combination works so well. And again, the running back does play into this. So what you're going to see here is the running back's actually going to widen out this defender here. Okay, so if we don't have this running back to the flat, that defender will actually be closer to the post sit, and it doesn't make it as easy to throw. But you can see he has to stay wide with this running back going to the flat, and that's why he is very important and why it's important to run this route combination to his side of the field. Now, as I said, this choice route is going to bring these yellow zones or these hook zones down closer to him, which opens up that pocket there for the post sit. You can see the spacing on this is very good. We have this guy here, and then we have this guy widening out the flat defender, whether, again, it's that cover 3 or cover 4 style defense. But this is a really easy route combination to set up. Again, it's all hot routes, so you don't need any specific play to do it. And we're going to be able to utilize this to really attack down the field with this post sit route, which is, again, one of my favorite routes in the game. Last year, it was in a lot of the Y cross concepts, but you didn't have it as a hot route. I love that we now have it as a hot route here. And again, you can see you just want to be patient, allow him to sit in that pocket of the defense, and we're going to be able to make that throw. Now, if that is a user to that side of the field and they are playing further back and they take that away, that does give us the opportunity to throw the choice route underneath, right? So if they do go back to take away the post sit, that's going to leave this Y wide open right here. So again, all you need to do is read that defender over the middle, the yellow or the hook zone to the left side of the field, and that's going to tell us, do we want to throw that little choice route there, that little hitch? Or are we going to be patient, get that defense to come draw towards that choice, widen out the defense with the running back, and hit that easy post sit over the middle for an easy 15+ yards. If you guys are looking to get even better at college football 26, make sure to join our free Discord by going to HuddleGG/Discord. Have a great day.